Built for life beneath the waves, sea turtles embark on their maritime adventures on the very day they are born. But today, they face a world in which it is becoming increasingly difficult to survive. Sea turtles may look graceful and seem to lead a life of leisure, but there's a story behind these eyes. For this turtle, today is a big day, the start of the biggest adventure of her life so far. A spectacular journey that will take her far from her feeding grounds and through a gauntlet of dangers. Her first breeding migration. 30 years ago, she was born on a faraway beach to which she has never returned. In fact, she has not felt dry sand beneath her flippers since that first day. Now she must find her way back to that distant spot to lay her own eggs. Following an incredibly accurate mental map that even the best human navigators marvel at, she will embark on an epic voyage which may take her thousands of kilometers across vast open ocean. She will rely on her trusty internal compass to guide her, just as her ancestors have done since the time when dinosaurs trod the earth. Amongst the greatest time travelers of all, sea turtles are true ancient mariners. To get this far has been no mean feat. Backpacking around the ocean highway with only a shell for protection is dangerous by any standards. But for her generation, it's riskier than ever, full of hazards that threaten the future of even these tough old-timers. Adult sea turtles have only two enemies: the cold-blooded giants of the oceanic world and the warm-blooded giants of the terrestrial world. While turtles have lived with shark predation for millions of years, human threats are relatively new on the scene and appear to be tipping the balance against turtles. She's an extremely strong swimmer. Her impressive front flippers are powered by solid muscle, so she makes good progress, often holding her breath for 45 minutes at a time. But eventually, she must rise for a breath of fresh air. A sea turtle shell is no match for a spinning boat propeller. The lucky ones escape with scars, but for many, these encounters are fatal. Turtle tip 1. Watch out, turtles about. Even back below the surface and out of propeller range, she is far from safe. Her route is cluttered with new hazards. Fishing nets lost or abandoned at sea and discarded lines and hooks present a major challenge. Aided by the tides and currents, they travel through the ocean, trapping and ensnaring unsuspecting creatures as they go. Other human rubbish, especially plastic waste and cigarette butts, can be mistaken for food, clog the digestive system, and eventually lead to a slow death from starvation. Turtle tip 2. Take everything home. Out of the blue, she notices that she is not alone. Trawling vessels dragging vast nets along the seafloor and long-line vessels trailing armies of baited hooks sweep up anything in their paths as they march relentlessly on. Internationally, the lives of thousands of sea turtles end this way each year. Although turtle exclusion devices are compulsory in some countries, including Australia, many places have as yet failed to implement them. In recent times, commercial and artisanal hunting has also climbed dramatically as the demand for turtle shells for jewelry, turtle skin for small leather goods, and turtle meat for food has increased. So let's put a happy twist in our turtle's tail. Having somehow dodged the ship's nets, the propellers, the hunters and predators, she now has more pleasant company. After weeks of solitude on the high seas, now it's time for a little romance. Despite having made it this far, her story may still not have a happy ending. In the 30 years since she hatched, the place of her birth may have changed out of all recognition. Beaches are favorite places for people, and nesting beaches are rapidly disappearing under the relentless march of progress. Unable to access their natal beach, some sea turtles resort to laying their eggs in unsuitable places. But this turtle is lucky. Her beach remains deserted. The hour has come to make it all worthwhile. As the sun sets, she pulls her heavy body out of the waves and lumbers up the beach. She is joined by other exhausted travelers, all heaving themselves to the temporary safety of the high tide zone. Here she will lay her first clutch of eggs. In a hypnotic nesting trance, she digs a nest into the sand and carefully deposits her precious cargo. If you come across a turtle nesting, passive watching is the name of the game. Touching, taking photographs and turning on lights can disturb turtles and cause them to abandon the nest. Turtle tip 3. Watch and learn. She painstakingly fills the hole with sand that will incubate the eggs until they are ready to hatch. She must now head back to the water as soon as she can. As the sun rises, the beach is no longer safe for her. The hot sun and falling tide will be fatal if she lingers here. She slips back into the cool water. She's done all she can for now. Unknowingly, she left a sandy trail behind her as she headed back down the beach. Following these telltale signs, humans can easily find nests and dig up thousands of turtle eggs long before they're ready to hatch. People have harvested a portion of the turtle egg bounty for generations, but in some places demand is outstripping supply and turtle numbers are dwindling. Feral animals share this taste for turtle eggs. Pigs, dogs and foxes root up and plunder nests. In some places, the massacre is so severe that every egg is eaten before it hatches. Changing climate, too, has its part to play in the survival of turtle eggs. The eggs incubate in the warm beach sand, and since the temperature of the sand determines the sex of the hatchlings, higher temperatures are likely to affect the ratio of males to females. It's also likely that rising sea levels will encroach upon nesting beaches, drowning nests and sweeping away valuable sand. Over the following months, our turtle makes several trips up the beach to lay further clutches of eggs. Exhausted, she takes a moment to recover before heading home. Although she has not eaten for weeks, she must retrace her route back across the open ocean before she can hope to feed again. As she prepares once more for the epic journey ahead, uncertainty lingers. Her nesting beach remains intact, but will she be as lucky with her feeding grounds? Urban areas, industry and agriculture release a cocktail of chemicals, sediments and excess nutrients into the ocean, smothering and often destroying the seagrass, corals and shellfish that are the mainstay of a turtle's diet. A changing climate also presents problems at feeding grounds. Increased water temperatures can cause corals to bleach and eventually die. In many parts of the world, sea turtle feeding grounds are changing dramatically. As she leaves her nesting beach behind, the tiny fruits of her first nesting efforts are bursting forth from the dunes. As soon as they emerge from their sandy nests, the new hatchlings scurry instinctively towards the water. This amazing ability to locate the ocean within moments is surely one of the natural world's most impressive phenomena. Turtle tip 4. Hands off. If you come across a turtle hatchling on its journey to the ocean, avoid the urge to pick it up and help it on its way. This first clamber sets the internal magnetic compass, allowing this newborn to retrace its path when the time comes for it to breed. Turtle hatchlings are internally programmed to head for the brightest spot on the horizon, but on populated beachfronts, the reflected light of the ocean is often drowned out by the glare of artificial lights. As they make that first dash, some disorientated babies are finding themselves not in the ocean, but on busy roads or amongst bars and beachfront homes. Only a few centimeters long, turtle hatchlings make an easy meal as they cross the beach. Birds and crabs compete for their share. For those hatchlings that do make it down to the water's edge, more dangers await. Predatory fish, small sharks and crocodiles. Only a lucky few will make it past the surf zone alive. Fish, sharks and crocodiles are a natural part of life for young turtles, albeit a lethal one. It is a constant balancing act between death and survival. In recent years, human actions have toppled this fine-tuned equilibrium, and the future for our ancient mariners is in jeopardy. Having survived for millions of years, it is our actions that are clouding their future. Today, 6 of the 7 sea turtle species are in danger, and the status of the 7th species remains unknown. Some populations may become extinct within the next few decades. Although they know the ocean like the back of their flippers, sea turtles know nothing of national borders or management boundaries. For them, the only limit is the ocean itself. To ensure her survival, we need to protect her at her nesting beach, during her migrations, and at her feeding grounds. Help us build a future for these nomads of the deep. Support the Sea Turtle Foundation.